Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by to check out my latest video. And today I'm here working on the hashtag Little Bits of Lace 2024. And I had planned on showing you guys the construction of my envelope flip journal, but unfortunately when I was setting up my desk and some different things, the whole stack of my little envelopes that I had figured out and put in order, they fell on the floor. I bumped them. And so now everything's out of order. So I'm going to have to go with plan B because I don't feel like trying to figure this out right now. And the next thing I was going to end up showing you guys was the journal cover that I'm going to make with little bits of lace. So I decided to go ahead and start working on that. And I just wanted to show you guys, I am starting off with an envelope for my cover. And it is 10, and I believe it's by 13. So it's a 10 by 13 envelope that I have. You can kind of see that on the inside here. And so I'm going to use that for my base of my journal cover. And then I went ahead and I cut a piece of material that was slightly larger than that. And the material is just an old bed sheet that I had. And I did trace around it, and I don't know, I'll hold it up close. You can kind of see that I kind of drew a rectangle where I traced the envelope on there just so I kind of had a rough idea where this is going to lay once I glue it down on my cover. And then I just stuck the little pin in the middle of that just so I kind of had an idea where the middle of it was, because I'm probably going to do I'm thinking I'm probably going to do a 2-inch spine. So I might actually even lay my Tim Holtz ruler down just so I can kind of visualize, you know, if I put that in the middle, that there's an inch there and an inch there, just so I can kind of visualize where my spine might be. And I apologize, it looks like my camera is going in and out, and I'm not quite sure if it's because I'm working on white, if that's why it's doing that. Hopefully it wasn't out of focus for too long. I do apologize. I did before I started filming this time around, I did have some of my laces kind of picked out. Again, I'm working with laces that are 12 inches or less. And I'm just going to kind of lay them out. I do have an idea for my cover. I did find this when I was cleaning the other day in my craft room, or I was going through another bin and found this. It's just a sleeve that came off of a wedding dress several years ago, and I thought that would make kind of a fun pocket on my journal cover. And then earlier in one of the little bits of lace episodes, we created some snippet flowers, so I was thinking that might look kind of cute, you know, off to one of the sides. And then of course, you know, I'll fill in some lace, some scrap lace or trim on the inside up here, I was thinking, just to cover up the hem on the inside of that. And then since this is also cut here, I do have lots of little appliques like this that I'm going to most likely glue down and kind of edge things out a little bit just to make it nicer. And then of course I'll have a fun little pocket right here. So that's my plan for the journal cover at this moment in time, but I'm going to lay out different scrap laces onto my material and sew them on. So I just figured that I would pop on again, like I said, and I would just kind of show you guys my process. I'm going to sew them, so I'm not going to do that on camera. But you can see I had this pretty lace. Here's another one that I'm going to lay down. I kind of played with them a little earlier yesterday in my craft room, so I kind of came up with a little bit of a game plan. Of course, you know, once you start sewing things on, sometimes ideas change a little bit. And it's nice that I had my lines drawn in, so I kind of know where the edge of my paper is going to be for my cover. And so I'm just letting some of it hang over the sides because that'll get snipped off once I sew it on. So the front, I'm thinking I don't really need to do too much to it, just because if I'm going to put this over the top of it, you really aren't going to see too much of the cover side of it. And I wanted to use a little bit of this, I think, right here, just on the side. I'm going to snip that down, I think. But I'm just thinking that might look kind of nice if I then put that on top eventually. So I think that's what I want to do for the actual cover. And I don't know the bottom lace. I'll just show you guys all the layers. I don't think I did that as I was setting them down. They're just different pieces of lace. This was a basic lace. This was a really pretty lace. And then this lace right here is one that I'm just going to snip down, I think, and just put right here on the side. So that's what I'm going to do on this side. And I'm thinking eventually what I will do at the very end, when I actually have sewn in my signatures and everything, I want to glue this down. I think this is 2 inches wide, this piece of trim that I had left over. So I'm going to probably put that down the middle right here. So that'll again make it really nice, and it'll look like a finished edge right on this side. Of course, you can always glue down some other trims off to the side if you want later on. But I'm thinking that's what I want to do. So I'm not going to sew this one down, because once I sew my signature in, I want to maybe be able to cover up my strings from my signature. So I'm not going to do anything with this one right now. I'm just going to hold it off to the side. And then the other side right here, what I think I want to do is, I have this really pretty lace. I'm going to put that one up at the top over here. And again, if I sew or glue this down at the end, that should cover the gap right there. And I think I got all this stuff kind of messed up here, so let me see. So I'm also thinking I have this really pretty lace. I'm going to cut that down. It's less than 12 inches, so it works for my criteria for using up little bits of lace. So I'm going to put this one down, I think, first, so it's going to cover a wide area, and then I was going to sew this one on top. I think that's what I was going to do. And I'm just going to lay out a couple things. I can't quite 100% remember what I was going to do here. That pretty lace, I'm thinking somehow maybe this one under here. I had this really small piece that I wanted to try and work in, and I had this nice piece of lace, and that one I knew I was going to put on the very bottom. And then this little snippet right here that I had, I know I wanted to put right here on the top of that lace. I'm just trying to remember where I was going to put this one, if it was. I mean, it looks nice without that, I guess. Or maybe I was going to take off the top part of this lace and move it up. That might have been what I was going to do. See what that looks like. So that one's kind of short right there, but I think, again, I think when I put this on, I think I'll be okay. Otherwise, I could always, you know, glue another piece of lace the long way down at the very end. So I'm not going to worry about that, because I could either put it on that side or this side to finish it up. Or or maybe this one. I have this nice little piece of lace. It's like an insertion lace with ribbon in the middle of it. Maybe that would look nice down the side, and that would kind of cover up that little gap that I have right here. I don't know if that's showing up, but you know, you just see the material and there's no lace. So maybe I'll do that, because that can still sew over the top of that. So I think that'll work right now for my layout. And so I'm going to just sew all these down for now. And I will be back after I've done that. Again, I'll trim off the sides of any of the lace that needs to be trimmed. And then we can go ahead and attach it to the envelope. So I will be back shortly. So I finished sewing all my little bits of lace onto my journal cover, and I just thought I would show you guys what it looks like so far. Here would be the front side of the cover. And there's the back side of the cover. And then the other thing that I did is, if you look on the back side, if I flip it over, I did sew on some lace. These weren't leftover bits of lace because they were longer than 12 inches. But I did sew on some lace just for a closure. And then the other thing that I did, because I should have sewed them on first. And since I sewed them on the back, I did cut in right here, and I'm going to trim this off just so then I have a spot, because I'm going to wrap, my plan is to wrap these around the sides of the envelope. But the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew this onto my envelope, and then when I come back, we'll trim these two little pieces right here, and I'm going to go ahead and add my little bridal sleeve pocket to the front of this to finish it up. Okay, now that I have sewed the material to the envelope, the next step that I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim just this little bit off right here, and then I'm going to glue the back pieces of the material to the envelope. And again, I just had to cut out the spot where my closure was, just because of how I sewed in the, my ribbon closures that I'm using. So now on the back side, what I'm going to do, I think, and eventually I'll cover the inside with paper, but for now I'm just going to just fold over the material and glue it down. So I just finished gluing down the edges, and again, in the future I will be covering this side with paper, or I could glue down more material. But for now, I'm just going to finish up the cover with you guys. And hopefully I have all my pieces here. So my major plan was to glue down this piece of sleeve from a wedding gown on the cover, and I'm just going to temporarily put this down like if it were in the middle, just so I kind of have an idea where the spine is. And what I did for this piece, just to make sure that I'm not going to add glue where I don't want it, I did just cover a piece of scrap paper. And I have some of that like Teflon sheet, crafting sheet that I had cut up. And that's just going to stop any glue from going all the way through to the front layer. Just kind of a little protective thing that I'm doing. And since I cut this kind of funny and this was a long time ago before I ever knew what I was going to do with it, is why I'm kind of doing this maybe backwards. It would have been easier if it would have been a little bit longer of a sleeve, but as you can see, I cut up onto it, and I'm not sure why I did that, if there was more decorations or lace or something. But for now, I'm just going to put glue down on these two sides and then attach it. And then I will glue these sides down onto the front. So hopefully that makes sense. And I'm just waiting here for my hot glue gun to heat up. I'm going to glue it down with the hot glue. Then I'm just going to give it a second before I pull out this inner sheet here. So I think this will work, hopefully. I just didn't want the glue, like I said, to seep through that first layer onto this, because I want to make sure that it's a functional pocket. So I think this is going to work. And so then my next step, and then I'm going to put some sort of appliques in that snippet flower on top. So first of all, I'm just going to, there's a little bit overhanging here. I'm going to trim that off so that doesn't show. I think this will work. So let's give it a try here. So far that seems like it's working, and let's just take a peek. Or I'll just stick my hand in here just to make sure that I can functionally put something in there, and it looks like I will be able to use it as a pocket, and it's not coming up, so that's good. So the next step is to decorate it, and earlier on one of the little bits of lace episodes I did make snippet flowers, and this is one of the ones that I made, and this is the one that I decided I really want to add to my cover. So I'm just going to kind of visualize if I actually had my cover here closed. And I think it's going to look really nice there, or I could put it down here. But I think I like it on this side. But maybe before I do that, maybe I want to put a little something underneath it, just to, in case you see a little bit of this. And so I have this snippet lace left over. So what I'm going to do, I think on this one, I'm going to just cut it in half. And I'm just going to glue part of it down here, just so that there's something down here. And I'm going to go ahead and glue it down with the Fabri-Tac, I think. Whenever possible, I'm a fan of using Fabri-Tac over the hot glue, just because the hot glue makes your laces and stuff really stiff. So if I think that the Fabri-Tac will hold, I always use Fabri-Tac versus the hot glue. Unless I'm in a hurry, then I'll use the hot glue. I think that'll work. And again, I think I want to, you know, add something like this to this corner. So I don't think I have to put that other bit of lace right there. I do want to also, I think, but I'll need to use my hot glue. Up here, I want to put some lace trim up here. So let's do that first. And I might glue down a little bit more hot glue up here, just because I have the beads on the back side. And I didn't really want to snip them off, so we'll just put a little bit more hot glue back here. Just to try to glue this a little bit more firmer in place. And then I'm going to use the hot glue to glue this little lace trim down, or it's just a trim. My fingers are getting lots of hot glue on them here. That just covers up the stitching on the inside of this sleeve. So it just makes it look a little bit more elegant, I think. So there's what that top part looks like. Like I said, it just kind of hides the stitching on the inside of the sleeve a little bit. And we'll just visualize that that's there in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And this is very heavy, so I definitely need to use the hot glue for this. That is cute. I really like that. That's really pretty. I think I just want to make sure I didn't add glue where I didn't want it to, so it can still use it as a functional pocket. And then I had these bits of lace. I have to decide. I might want to add some more lace. I'm going to go grab a couple more appliques. I'll be right back. Alright, so now to kind of finish this off, like I said, I wanted to add some appliques on here, so, and all these appliques came off of a bridal train that my mom and her neighbor Joanne found for me when they were out thrifting. And these appliques came off of the bridal, if any of you guys watch my thrifting videos, they came off of the bridal train that was, that they paid $2 for. And I got quite a few appliques on it. So I think that looks really cute. I just need to do a little bit more trimming, I think, on this one to make it glue down better. So I think that'll work. And I'm going to go ahead and use my Fabri-Tac for this. These are pretty lightweight. And I think just to be on the safe side, I'm going to take off this little Teflon sheet. These are those Ranger pad sheets that you get. They can withstand heat, but they also work well like when you're gluing. And I think I'm going to, and they come in bigger sheets, but I just cut them down into little squares, or I have one that I cut down into smaller squares. I've also bought those copper mats. Also for crafting, just to do for the same thing. I'm just going to stick this in here just to try to keep, if the glue does want to seep through, at least it'll seep onto this little sheet versus the little Teflon sheet versus the back side, so then I can't use it as a pocket, just in case. I don't think it will because I'm not putting that much glue on, but better safe than sorry, right? And I think Fabri-Tac holds pretty well for kind of some basic little appliques. So I'm just kind of hitting a few spots on the back here with the glue, and I can always touch it up if something didn't adhere well enough. I think I'm going to trim off this little piece that's hanging over. I don't like that. And then I'll just add a little bit more glue behind here just to make sure that that gets attached. Seems like that's working pretty well. It doesn't feel like any of the glue seeping in there, but I'm just going to leave that in there for the next part also. So I might want to add some more appliques, and I have some more pieces off of that wedding train that I can go ahead and add if I want. So I think those two pieces are going to work. And I might snip off a little bit of this bottom one here. Just seeing on some of those snippets that I had if I could add them in at all, like this piece that we cut off, if I could add it in at a different angle. But I think that works just the way it is. And then I did like this flower one up here also, so I think I'm going to glue that one down. So I'll just hold it up so you guys can kind of see what I did there. And then I think I want to put something on this side also. Just a little bit of something. So there's what it looks like so far, and I still might add more like lace and stuff hanging out from the sides as I work on the journal. But here is what I have so far for the cover, and I really like how that looks so far. And again, I'll be gluing this down on the side when I actually sew in my signature. But there is the beautiful little cover that I made using little bits of lace, and then also some bridal trim and pieces of material from the bridal dress. And then there's what the spine would look like. And then again, here's the back using up little bits of lace from my stash. I think it looks really elegant, and that was kind of the look I was going for. So thank you again, everybody, so much for watching today's episode of Little Bits of Lace. And I will have, again, if this is your first time watching one of my episodes, I am following the hashtag Little Bits of Lace 2024, and I'm following Cori Dahmen. I will have her original video linked below in the description box if you guys want to check it out. And of course, anybody is welcome to play along with the hashtag, and you can join in at any time. And hopefully I will see you guys back for another episode of Little Bits of Lace. Until then, have a wonderful day and happy crafting.